Hello everyone, welcome to EHF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is Institution Webinar Series. My name is Anton Hilman. I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by the representative of the University College Dublin. Please stay tuned until the end of the webinar because after the presentation, we will hold a Q&A session. If you have any question about the presentation, and anything related to the institution, you can submit your question in YouTube's comment section anytime during the presentation. And now, please welcome the University College Dublin.
Hi, thanks a lot. So I will share my screen now with everyone before we start the presentation there. All right, is the presentation showing on your screen now? All right, so I'll start my presentation. My name is Apple Chan from UCD. So I'm actually based in the UCD Asia Pacific Global Center, which is actually in Malaysia. And I overlook all students who are coming to UCD from the Asia Pacific region. So generally, if you have any questions in regards to admission, up to pre-departure, you can direct it to me. I will leave my email address at the end of the presentation, so you can actually contact me after that. All right, so I will start my presentation today very briefly from Ireland. For some of the students who are maybe not aware of Ireland, so Ireland is actually based in Europe. So it is one of the major countries in the Europe. So we are not a huge country to be honest. So you are looking at a population of approximately 4.8 million. Most of the Irish people are actually living abroad due to historical reasons. But for a lot of students, this presents an opportunity because of the low population in Ireland. They are looking for a lot of students with skill to study in Ireland, as well as at the same time to work in Ireland after they have graduated. So just to give you a bit more information of Ireland geographically, so this is the map here. So Indonesia is roughly around this area here, and Ireland is right over here, right beside the UK. So for some of you who have no idea where Ireland is actually just right beside to the UK. So we are not too far away. Like there's a lot of flights between like Dublin, which is the capital city of the Republic of Ireland, to London. So there's almost a flight every hour. So it is very convenient for students who are maybe looking to travel in Europe at the same time, because there is a lot of other available flights to all the major cities in Europe. And to give you a bit more information of Ireland per se, so I have actually break it down to 4 keywords there for students to remember. So one is being language. So Ireland is actually an English language speaking country. So yes, the official language of Ireland is the Irish language, but do not worry too much about it because all documents, or generally all signboards or even your daily life in Ireland, there is an English options available. So all of our official documents are actually Duolingo. And at the same time, you can just go on with your daily life with English. There's no requirement for you to learn the Irish language when you're studying in Ireland at all. Second keyword about Ireland is safety. So Ireland is known to be a very safe and peaceful country, and we are constantly ranked in the top 10 in the world in regards to safety as well as peacefulness. And the third keyword being well-being. So for some students who are maybe very concerned about personal freedom, very concerned about topics such as gender equality. So Ireland is actually a very good place for you to experience those type of culture, which is slightly different, I guess, for a lot of other countries around the world. And the fourth keyword is economy. So this may also be another keyword that may not be that famous in the Asia Pacific region, but Ireland is actually known to be one of the fastest growing economy in the Eurozone, and it is currently ranked as the number 6 most competitive market in the world. So another very important thing about Ireland is how beautiful the landscape of Ireland is. So these are the very 2 main World Heritage sites that are based in Ireland. So you can actually explore them when you are studying in Ireland. Besides these 2 very famous World Heritage sites, there are also a lot of other famous places in Ireland, which has been on the cinema screen, which has been in a lot of dramas if we actually follow things, for example, like the British dramas or even Hollywood cinema movies. A lot of those sceneries are actually filmed in Ireland as well. So another thing I would like to highlight is in terms of the visa requirement for Indonesian students. So if you are from Indonesia, if you are holding an Indonesian passport, yes, you will need to apply for a travel visa before you fly off to Ireland. But the process is fairly straightforward. So you can just refer to all of the documents that is published on the webpage of our Irish Nationalization and Immigration Service, or we call it short INIS. So you can go onto the webpage, look up the list of documents required, and we normally advise students to submit a visa application at least 6 to 8 weeks in advance of your travel, just so that you have enough time to prepare all the documents. And in case you have been rejected on your first try, you can appeal for it as well. And then once you have arrived in Ireland, it is very straightforward. You'll need to apply for the Irish residence permit within 90 days after arrival. And that residence permit will be your permit to stay in Ireland. And also your multi-entry visa, for example, if you are looking to travel in Europe when you are studying, so you can use the Irish residence permit as your multi-entry visa and just renew it online every year. So it is very straightforward. If you are holding a citizenship that is not listed here, you can go on to the INIS webpage, which I have provided the link there. So this presentation I have actually shared with EHGF. And if you have any questions, you can also drop me an email at the end of the presentation, and I can send on the PDF version of the presentation so you can do your research from there then. And what you can do when you are studying and after you have completed your studies in Ireland. So when you are studying in Ireland, you can work part-time. So you have around 20 hours during term time. So when you are studying, you have 20 hours per week to work part-time. And when you are on your summer holiday or even on like Christmas holiday, you can work 40 hours per week. And there's a lot of internship opportunities when you are studying, especially when you are studying with UCD, because internship is a very huge component in our curriculum, and most of the programs that are provided in UCD will normally have a mandatory internship incorporated into the program. So you can actually explore the different options of the programs that we provide. Additional to that, so we have the third level graduate scheme, which is pretty much a scheme to encourage our graduates once they have completed their study in Ireland, they can actually stay back in Ireland to look for a job, work full-time or part-time. So for example, if you have completed an undergraduate degree, you have a guaranteed 12 months stay back visa. And if you have completed a postgraduate degree, so meaning if you have completed a master degree or a PhD, you get a 24 months stay back visa in Ireland. And that is available regardless the program that you have studied. With that stay back visa, you can stay in Ireland, look for a job, work full-time or part-time. And if, for example, a student is looking to further extend their stay in Ireland, so after that 24 months and maybe they have already secured a job in Ireland and you are looking to stay further than that, in that case, you can apply for an employment permit. Of course, you will need to get the sponsor from your company that you are working with. And some of the students who are maybe looking to maybe apply for a PR or even a citizenship at a later stage, you can do that, which is normally around 5 or 6 years after you have been holding an employment permit. As well as the minimum wage there, not that important because it changed and increased every year. But I normally just mention it briefly to students so that you know your rights when you're studying. So it is around 10.10 euro per hour. That will be the minimum wage. So where are most of the jobs in Ireland at the moment? So generally it is split in 3 sectors. First being finance institution. Second is in pharmaceutical and biotechnological companies. And the third being ICT companies. So if your interest at the moment is in these 3 fields, then it is lucky for you because that is where most of the jobs are in Ireland at the moment. But even if you are not in these 3 main fields, there is still possibilities for you to get a job. And we have students who have maybe went on to stay on with the graduate stay back visa, and they have explored the different other fields, the other fields that are available in Ireland. And some of them who are really happy, they actually stayed on further. And I have students who are already maybe holding a PR in Ireland at the moment. Some of them are working with like companies, even startup companies by like UCD alumni or even UCD students. So those are the options that you can explore when you're studying in Ireland. So a lot of these companies. So another thing I would like to put a spotlight on is on Dublin. So Dublin, like I mentioned, is the capital city of the Republic of Ireland, and it is also where UCD is. So this is the city where you will be in the next few years if, for example, you are studying in UCD. So you should know the city a bit more. So I'm giving you some keywords for you to understand the city a bit more as well. So one being that the Dublin is actually a very accessible city So you are 2 hours away from all the other major cities in Ireland, for example, like Galway, Cork, Limerick, or Belfast. So yes, it is the capital city, but if, for example, you are looking to maybe do a weekend break in another different major cities, just so you can have a bit of exposure of the different Irish cities as well as their culture. So you can do that over the weekend. And Dublin is actually a very easy to navigate city. So the places are very compact and it is totally walkable. So like a lot of people travel within Dublin by foot. If not, you can just use the public transports option available. So we have like the bus, the train, as well as we call something called the Luas. So Luas is similar to a light rail / tram that you can explore when you are actually studying in Dublin. Quite interesting public transport. Not a lot of places you get that type of public transport. Third is Dublin is also known to be the Europe tech capital, or also some of the people will call Dublin the Silicon Valley of Europe. So it has a lot of the international leading ICT companies such as Facebook, Google, Twitter. So a lot of those European headquarters are actually based in Dublin. And we are also mountain to sea. So mountain to sea means that Dublin is at the east side of Dublin, there is actually a very huge beach. And at the south part of Dublin, there's a lot of mountains. So if you are a nature lover, you will definitely find activities to do when you are studying in Dublin. And those are where you can travel. Even like if, for example, like if you want to do a weekend trip, or either if you want to just have maybe a half a day trip, you can do so when you are studying in Dublin. And Dublin is also known to be the gateway to Europe. So our Dublin airport has a lot of available flights to most of the European capitals, for example, like London, I've mentioned, or even if you are looking to go to Spain, or if you are looking to go to Germany, France. So those are the different flights that you can actually get, like, which is a few hours away only for you to go into the different parts of Europe. And it is also known to be the city of literature. So it was designated to be the 4th UNESCO city of literature since 2010. And it is also known to be a UNESCO creative city. So if you are a person who is like a literature freak, or either you love artistic things, Dublin will be a city that you will enjoy. So on top of that, I'm going to just give you a very brief summary of all of the main companies that are available in the Silicon Dock in Dublin. So this is called the Silicon Dock, and most of the major companies, their headquarters are based on the Silicon Dock. So as you can see, they are all very closely together. It is very compact, and you can pretty much explore these places even when you are studying in UCD, and even if you have not graduated from UCD. So the Silicon Dock is actually not too far away from UCD. So you are looking at approximately 4.5 kilometers away. But so you can just take the bus, or either some of our students may cycle into the Silicon Dock. Or the Silicon Dock is actually based in the city center as well. So some of students, if you are doing your shopping when you are studying, in that case, you can also visit the Silicon Dock. No issues around that. So I have a video here which will give you a bit more insights of how Ireland and Dublin looks like. At the same time, it will introduce UCD. All right. Tell me if the audio is actually not working, but I'll start the video now.
A welcome awaits you in Ireland, where we're famed around the world for our Céad Míle Fáilte, where miles of coastline meet miles of smiles, music, culture and fun, where we even have our own word for fun.
Crack.
Crack.
Crack?
Crack. A welcome awaits you in Dublin, a safe, English-speaking European capital city.
A warm UCD welcome awaits you at University College Dublin, Ireland's global university, based on a large parkland campus in Dublin's Embassy Belt.
The first choice destination for international students in Ireland.
Where the International Student Society is one of the biggest and most active on campus.
Along with over 130 student societies and sports clubs.
So you can really get involved and make friends from all over the world.
Where we debate the world's big issues.
Where your safety is our priority.
Where there's hundreds of acres of space to explore.
And we're committed to giving you the best possible campus learning experience.
Blended with accessible distance learning tools and options.
Where 42% of the faculty are international.
And we foster a mindset of integration of different cultures across campus.
where a dedicated global experience team is here to help you get started.
And safe, modern residences to make you feel at home.
Where we're all set to give you a Céad Míle Fáilte.
Where all that's missing is you. We look forward to welcoming you to your university, University College Dublin.
All right, so now I'll move on to UCD to give you a bit more introduction of UCD. So you have a bit of idea or sense of how UCD campus is already, but I'm just going to run through the points more in depth from the video. So UCD is actually based in the capital city of Republic of Ireland, which is based in Dublin. So our campus is known to be one of the largest and most globalized public university in Ireland. So the landscape of our campus is around like 133 hectares. So it is also known to be one of the largest urban campus in Europe. All right. So we actually have two campuses. So one is the main Bellevue campus and the second being a Blackrock campus. So the Blackrock campus is actually the campus for graduate business school students. So if you are doing a postgraduate business degree in UCD, in that case, you'll be based on the Blackrock campus. So these are some statistics of UCD. So I will skip the first 2 points because those are quite self-explanatory. So UCD is actually known to be the #2 university in Ireland across 50 different majors within the top 200 of the world. But depending on the majors that you are looking to study, some of the majors that we have in UCD is actually ranked #1 in Ireland. And we are known to be the first choice university for among Irish students, and also #1 in Ireland for industry collaboration, as we have around like 250 partner companies funded research projects. And we are also the #1 university in Ireland for 3 consecutive years already on the QS Graduate Employability Ranking. And we are proud that around 95% of our graduates move into employment or further education within 6 months after they have completed their studies. So this is actually a very prominent statistics of the students once they have graduated and where they have go after they have completed their studies. So another very known thing about UCD is the international outlook of UCD. So international students is actually one of our core thing in UCD because we are known to be the most globalized university in UCD. Hence, we also have the highest number of international students in Ireland. So around 8,000 of our 8,000 of our students are international students among our 33,000 student population. And we also have international students coming from 138 different nationalities. So there are a huge range of international students coming from all walks of life, as well as we have the opportunity for students to study abroad or even exchange. So we have around like 400 exchange partner universities across 89 different countries. And around 42% of our staff are from an international background. Like myself, I'm actually from Malaysia. And we even have students or even current students, when they are working as global guides, they will be coming from various countries around the world, and they can support you and also guide you when you are studying in UCD. And we have 5 regional teams in Global Center across like North America, Middle East and North Africa, South Asia, mainland China, as well as Asia Pacific. So you always have a regional team which is close to you, who will be able to provide you support even before you arrive in UCD. Okay. And some of the campus facilities that we have, so like we have on-campus accommodation, we also have a lot of other facilities such as our own cinema, our own drama theater, our own debating chamber, our own TV and radio studio, as well as the UCD clubhouse. And if you are into sports, we have all of the sports facilities available on campus. Like in Dublin, for example, there's only 3 Olympic-sized swimming pool, and one of it is actually on UCD campus, as well as we even have the National Hockey Stadium with us. And we also have 5 libraries. So for students who are interested to explore different options, so you can also visit the different libraries which are on campus, as well as the woodland that we have on campus, which you can explore when you're studying at UCD. Okay, so next I'll move on to other programs offerings that we have at UCD. So we have 70 plus different bachelor degrees, as well as 290 plus postgraduate studies, and also a structured PhD program at UCD. But what are the majors that are available at UCD? So I have a brief summary here. So you can have a look. So we have generally arts and humanities program, business as well as social science and law programs, health and agricultural science, engineering and architecture, as well as sciences. So we are research intensive university. You will definitely get a major that would be what you are looking for in one of those colleges that we have there. So just to summarize some of our strong programs that we have at UCD. So like I mentioned previously, we have across 20 different subjects or even like 50 subjects within the top 200. So this is just a summary of it. Like I picked the best six subjects in the top 50 in the world. So English language and literature, mining, mineral engineering, nursing, veterinary science, library and information management, sports related subjects. So if your interest is that, UCD is strong in it. And we also have 7 subjects in the top 100 of the world. So like archaeology, history, agriculture and forestry, anatomy and physiology, law, politics and international study, as well as social policy. So if you're interested in those studies and you're looking to study in Ireland, those are the subjects that UCD is strong in. So also a bit highlights of some of the programs that are popular for Indonesian students. So like for example, those that I mentioned previously, on top of it, we are also looking at computer science because like I mentioned, Dublin is actually known to be the Silicon Valley of Europe. So there is a lot of students who are interested in this major, as well as commerce and business, other engineering programs, architecture, actuarial and finance study, biomedical, pharmaceutical, as well as international relations, international development, education, and also agricultural science. And the last one is technology. Okay, so you can actually explore those options which are provided at UCD. And our business school, our Smurfit Business School, the Graduate Business School, it is actually one of the top business school in Ireland, as well as one of the top business school in Europe and around the world. So a lot of our postgraduate business programs are highly ranked within the world, as well as it is Triple Crown accredited, so it is well recognized around the world as well. So if you are interested, you can go on to our Smurfit School, which I provided in the link there, the Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School. So you can just do a bit of research as well as explore the different majors that we are providing under our postgraduate business school. Okay. And UCD have a very extensive career development network. So you can also talk to our staff like myself if you want to know more about it. And we can pretty much guide you through our career development webpage, which you can actually exploit when you are studying at UCD or even after you have completed your study, because this service is actually available to our current student as well as our alumni. Okay. And that is an example of the different services that are provided by our career development office. So I won't go through them personally, but you can have a brief look on it. So next part, I move into a bit admission process. So like, how are you going to submit an application to UCD? So which is very straightforward as well. So this is the minimum entry requirement that we are looking at. So you can go into the links there provided, and you can look into, for example, if you are interested in commerce, what is the entry requirement? Of course, you can go on the website for that. So I won't go into that, but I'll just briefly talk through what are the different qualifications that we accept. So IB and A level, definitely there's no any questions around that. We also accept SMA if you are from Indonesia. Generally, we require around 70% average and above for our programs. And if, for example, you are coming from a curriculum that does SAT as well, we can combine it with SAT, or even your first year bachelor degree from a university in Indonesia, we accept that as well. Or if not, if you are holding a SMA result that is generally maybe not as high as 70%, in that case, you can study our foundation program, which is also available on campus, and that is the link that I provided there. For postgraduate students, you will normally need to have a CGPA of 3.0 over 4.0 and above in order to apply for our master program. And we also have PhD. PhD application is slightly a bit more complicated, so you can go on the webpage there for more information. And all teaching will be done in English in UCD. So there is an Ielts requirement, which is around an overall of 6.5 and no individual band below 6. And we also accept things, for example, like TOEFL, DET, as well as the other English language. So you can go on to the link that I provided there to have a bit more insights on this. Okay, so you can submit an application through our online application portal, which I provided the link there, or either you can talk to one of our authorized agents, which is based in Indonesia, and they can help to submit an application on behalf of you to UCD. The tuition fee of UCD per year is approximately 19,900 euro for non-laboratory programs and 25,600 euro for laboratory programs. And the living cost is approximately 12,000 to 14,000 euro per year. So you can do your budgeting there. And these are the documents that are required for you to submit an application. Another thing to note is we normally only do one intake per year, which is in September. So I provided the application timeline there, which you can start applying from October the year before until July. And if you are looking to apply for scholarships, generally the deadline will be around March. So normally that will be when students submit the application. So you can have a look in the timeline there and plan on when you want to submit your application and study in UCD. We also have scholarships available. So we have the International Student Scholarship, which is actually a partial scholarship or previously known as the Global Scholarship. So it is a scholarship that covers around 4,000 to 10,000 euro based on your academic merit. So it is not a separate scholarship where you need to submit an additional application. It is automatically applied to you on the offer letter if you have been successfully awarded the scholarship, and I provided terms and conditions there. And the second scholarship is known to be the Global Excellence Scholarship, which is 100% of 50% tuition fee waive scholarship. So it covers either your half of your tuition fee or either your full tuition fee. So there is, of course, terms and conditions on the programs that are entitled for this scholarship. So you can refer to the terms and conditions there. So as I mentioned, the scholarship deadline is at the end of March.
I just want to remind you that we still have 5 minutes left for the presentation.
There is like 2-3 more slides I have. Thank you. And finally, so I have provided some links there for our social media platform. So if you want to pretty much stay tuned on what is happening in UCD, as well as to know like what are the student experience or what our students are saying. So a lot of our students are on all these platforms as well, and they will normally share their experience as well as what they are currently doing in UCD, like what is their day-to-day life or what is their favorite spot to eat or even visit. You can actually follow our social media platform and have a look. All right, and that is the end of my presentation there. So I provided our general mailbox, which is southeastasia@uc.ie. That will be for the Asia Pacific Global Center, and also my own email address there, which is apple.chan@uc.ie. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop that email to me. And if you want the presentation as well, I can send on the PDF format if you drop me an email as well. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Chan, for your presentation. Now we will begin the Q&A session. The first question. Hi, is there any scholarship available for Smurfit Graduate Business School? Thank you very much.
Yes, there is definitely the Smurfit own scholarship. So our Smurfit Business School have their own range of scholarship on top of the 2 scholarships that I mentioned just now. So you can go on to the Graduate Business School webpage. Under a section called scholarships, they will have a list of their own scholarship that is normally based on specific majors. So for example, we have the own MBA scholarship. There is also a merit-based MSc scholarship, which is for the different majors within the business school. And there is also some scholarships which are maybe linked to specific criteria. For example, we have one is called MBA for Women. In that case, you can also look into the terms and conditions of that scholarship from their webpage.
Thank you for your answer. The second question, is there any extension program from diploma to bachelor degree? Thank you.
I'm afraid we don't have those type of programs at UCD yet at the moment. Generally, if a student is presenting a diploma, your application will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Generally, if you are coming from a diploma background, most likely the student will need to do a foundation, but there is exceptions where in some cases, after we have reviewed and also mapped up your curriculum, we think that maybe if you are suitable to enter first year or even like maybe second year, in that case, it may be possible, but it is just on a case-by-case basis at the moment.
Thank you. I think it will be the same question. Do you accept transfer credit from associate to bachelor degree?
So similarly to diploma, so it is also still on a case-by-case basis. So normally for students who are presenting an associate degree, and if you are looking to apply to our bachelor program, what I would recommend you to do is first submit an application with all of your transcript, including your A-level equivalent transcript, which is like your SMA or even relevant transcripts that you have, or even the diploma. So make sure you submit all relevant transcripts that you have. And once we have received all of your documents, we will start the assessment. And if, for example, similarly to diploma, once we have done all the mapping, everything, and if you feel that maybe particular subjects or even modules that can be exempted, in that case, we'll give you that credit exemptions then.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. The next question is about the living cost. How does it cost?
So it is approximately around 12,000 to 14,000 euro. That is including accommodation, of course. So if you are staying on campus, you can just deduct the amount of off-campus accommodation, and whatever remaining will be your food, travel, leisure type of expenses. Generally, we put it on a higher scale than usual. Some of our students who are maybe cooking at home for themselves, they buy a lot of groceries and they cook on their own. Some of them can live with around like 200 to 300 euro per month. So it is actually totally possible to be living below that, but we normally put it on a higher scale in case, like if, for example, you get a if you are renting a more expensive place in Dublin, which is sometimes quite common if you are staying near UCD, in that case, it may be slightly higher than usual then.
Thank you for your answer. Next question. Hello, I'm interested to apply to Master of Accounting in Smurfit Graduate Business School. Do you provide application fee waiver for Indonesian students?
So not if you are submitting an application directly to our website. So if you are submitting an application directly to our website, you need to pay a 50 euro application fee. But if, for example, you approach one of our authorized agent, which is based in Indonesia, so you can get the authorized agents list from our webpage as well. If you can't find it, drop me an email and I can send you on the link for that. So if you approach one of our authorized agents to submit your application, in that case, they will have to waive the application fee on your behalf then.
Okay, thank you. Next question. It goes, I'm looking for master degree. I believe my Dutch bachelor degree is equal to Irish degree level 7, which is not honor degree. Is there still a possibility to apply to master's program at UCD?
I see. Okay. So I have received students who are coming from a similar background to yourself as well. I would say, unfortunately, it is not possible to enter our master program if you are presenting an ordinary bachelor degree. We will normally need an honors bachelor degree before you can apply for our master program. So generally what our students who have done previously is, because ordinary degree is normally provided in Australia, right? So they will go on to complete an honors year in Australia before they come back to actually apply to UCD for a master program.
Thank you. Next question. Is there any scholarship for master degree environment policy program? How much the residential student costs and how much the residential student costs? Thank you.
Sorry, the question is residential student cost?
Yes. Yep.
How much is the tuition fee? I guess that is the question, right?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So if you are looking at environmental related programs, so environmental on a master level, there is two approaches to it. One being more towards policy and the other more towards engineering technology type. So if you are looking to go down the route of policy based, then it's normally considered a non-laboratory program. In that case, it's 19,900 euro. But if you are going down the engineering and technology route, in that case, it's considered a laboratory program and it's around 25,600 euro per year. So that is the tuition fee of the programs. And yes, we have scholarships available. So like the two scholarships that I mentioned just now, the International Student Scholarship as well as the Global Excellence Scholarship, you are applicable to apply to both of those scholarships.
Thank you very much for your answer. The next question is, what kind of the document should be prepared by Indonesian student to apply to your university? Thank you.
Right. So I have also put on this information on the presentation. So maybe because I went through very briefly just now, you might not caught it just now. So you can actually request a PDF from me and you have the list of documents there. So generally it's personal statement, Second is being two reference letter. So the reference letter can be for an academic or from a professional. So for example, if you are working for a couple of years, you have more referees in your professional work background. In that case, you can provide two professional reference instead. And also we normally ask for all relevant transcript, academic transcript. So for example, if you are applying for master degree, then you will need to provide your bachelor degree transcript, as well as, for example, if you have already done a master degree priorly or even a graduate certificate, graduate diploma, in that case, you can provide whatever relevant transcript to us. Or if you're applying to our bachelor degree, then maybe if you have a diploma, either SMA, or either if you have external foundation or whatever document that you have, just provide them to us. And the fourth document we normally require is the English language proficiency test. So for example, like Ielts, TOEFL, PTE, or whatever that is relevant to it. So the full list is also available on the slide that has the document list on it. So generally, those are the documents that we require from students: personal statement, two reference letter, academic transcript, English language. But some of the programs, for example, if you're applying to like architecture, you may need to provide something like your portfolio. So of course, those are additional requirements, and you will need to, when you're submitting an application per se, then you will see those additional requirements. If not, generally, those four documents will be the one then.
Thank you for your answer. For the next question, and it would be the last question. It goes, in terms of PhD, is it considered to be rude if we contact the professor looking for a research when thesis is no research opportunity related to our field of study? Thank you.
It's a very fine line. I would say very fine line. So generally, our professors are quite welcoming in terms of students contacting them directly, because we have the researcher database, which is transparent and open to the public, so anyone can access it and also can approach the professor. But generally, if you are looking for a PhD opportunity, I would recommend students to make sure that you have already done your research and not approach a professor blindly. It's better for you to pretty much know a bit of ins and outs of the professor. For example, like what is the research interest of the professor, what is the current research that the professor is doing, before you actually drop an email over to the professor asking further details and also PhD opportunity. Make it more like if you are going to contact a stranger, what you would do, and not abruptly just send a very brief email with not a lot of personal information or whatever. Just pretty much draw a line on how will you contact a stranger indirectly for that. Yeah, okay?
All right, that's the end of our Q&A session. Just a reminder, you can connect with the representative or Miss Apple through the information given earlier. Thank you, Miss Apple, for your good presentation. I hope to see you again. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot for hosting this. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching, and see you in our next session.